we all carry this unspoken tension, don't we? The pull between saving every penny for some distant future and really living right now. What if the biggest regret people have, maybe on their deathbed, isn't about the money they blew, but the life they just didn't live? Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into a book that, well, it doesn't just talk about that tension, it offers a pretty radical solution. It's Die with Zero by Bill Perkins. And it really does flip the script on how we usually think about saving, spending, and, truly living. So if you've ever wondered, like, when do I actually get to enjoy my money? How do I make my life genuinely rich, not just dollars, but rich in memories? Then yeah, this deep dive is definitely for you. Our mission today, let's rethink your future. Let's explore how to live a life with, well, the goal is zero regrets. Okay, so often we approach life almost like it's this big game of saving, right? Accumulation. We put off the vacation, skip the adventure, always pushing the joy, the fun stuff into this kind of imaginary future. Usually retirement way off somewhere. It's sort of like we're always training for a marathon we might not even run. Saving the best running shoes for race day, and then maybe race day doesn't happen like we planned.
That's a really strong way to put it. And the potential tragedy there, it's quite profound, actually. You hit 70, you're finally free from the job, but maybe your knees hurt, your energy isn't what it was. And the people you wanted to share it with, they're busy, they've got their own lives going on. So that reward you delayed, it can become completely unattainable. It's not just postponed fun, it feels like a genuinely lost opportunity. It can be quite heartbreaking when you think about it that way.
Yeah, that really drives it home. So how does Perkins suggest we fight this ingrained habit? What's his core idea for living differently?
Well, he challenges that whole mindset with a surprisingly simple philosophy, really. Basically,
Yeah.
use your money to buy experiences, not just things. Use your time to create memories, not just wealth. It's a fundamental shift in focus. What do we really value?
Okay, and what's the thinking behind that? Because the book really hammers this point. Time isn't money. Time is more valuable than money. That hits hard. You can always theoretically make more money, right? But you're never going to be 30 again, or 25, or 40 with your kids still in school. Each age, each phase, it's like this unique window, a once-in-a-lifetime chance to experience things in a way you just use. You can't replicate later. It really makes you think, doesn't it? Perkins asks this super direct question. What are you postponing that you might never get back? You know that mountain you always said you'd climb, that road trip with your old friends, that city you dreamed of living in, maybe just for a year? He's saying these aren't just like little luxuries. They're actual investments in being alive.
Exactly. And that connects directly to another really compelling idea he brings up, memory dividends. He wants us to think about experiences almost like financial investments. But instead of cash, they pay out in memories over time. So you take that amazing trip, right? You don't just enjoy it while you're there. You get to relive it. Your mind replays it. It becomes part of your story, something that brings a smile years later, a moment you carry with you.
And what Perkins argues next is, I think, a real game changer. He points out this huge difference. Memories appreciate over time, things don't. That really goes against the grain of consumer culture, doesn't it? We're constantly told to buy the newest thing, the best gadget. But Perkins is basically saying, look, that fancy car, it loses value the second you drive it. But that amazing memory, that ski trip, that concert, that's an asset. It keeps paying out. It gets more valuable every time you think about it, every time you share the story.
Yeah, it's a powerful contrast. But it's also important to be clear here. Die with Zero isn't arguing for, just blowing all your money recklessly tomorrow. No, what's really insightful is this idea of a spending curve. It's about wisely allocating your resources, time and money across your whole life. It's about optimizing for life experiences, not just random splurging.
Right, so it's strategic. As you move through life, the curve shifts. It reflects your changing needs, your opportunities. So when you're younger, maybe the focus is on experiences that need energy, freedom, flexibility, backpacking, big adventures. Then, middle years, maybe spending shifts more towards family, building connections, pursuing things with more purpose. And then later on, it might be more about comfort, giving back, legacy. Like say you're 30, you're deciding between a bigger down payment or maybe a year off to travel the world. Perkins' framework would likely push you towards the travel right, especially if it's a chance you won't get again. It's about front-loading those peak experiences you can't do later.
Precisely. And if you zoom out, look at the big picture, the ultimate goal Perkins lays out is this: to die with zero regrets. 0 wasted years, 0 unlived dreams. And yeah, ideally with $0 left unspent, unshared, or unused. It sounds provocative, but it's about fully using your life and your resources, getting the absolute most out of every moment, every dollar.
Okay, now here's where it gets maybe a bit controversial. The book tackles this head on, and it might make some of us uncomfortable. The idea that saving too much money can actually be a mistake. I mean, for so many of us, not saving feels almost wrong, doesn't it? How does he justify that?
That's a really critical point. Why could saving too much be a mistake? Because, as Perkins explains it, you save at the cost of living. That's the trade-off. You hoard resources for tomorrow that, well, it might not come, or it might come, but your future self can't actually enjoy what you saved for. We've all heard people say, oh, I'll travel when I retire. But maybe by then, travel means a gentle cruise, not, trekking in Nepal like they dreamed of at 30.
Yeah, and Perkins includes these stories, right? Contrasting examples, people who died with millions stashed away, but lived what he calls a life half-lived, compared to others who, maybe didn't die rich, but they chose wisely, lived boldly, and passed with joy, not regret. It really makes you question what you're optimizing for.
Absolutely. And what's really striking, I think, is that while the title grabs you with the $0 idea, the book's message is so much broader than just money. It's really a deep reflection on how to live. It's almost a philosophy for life itself.
Totally. It boils down to being intentional, doesn't it? About living fully now, but still planning sensibly for the future. It's not about ignoring tomorrow. It's also about giving while you're alive, actually seeing the impact your generosity can have. And fundamentally, just not waiting. Not waiting until it's too late for the experiences that make life rich and meaningful. So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening right now? I think the core message is you don't actually need to be wealthy to live a rich life. What you need is clarity. Clarity on what truly matters to you, and then maybe the courage to actually go after it.
You only get one shot at this life. That's the bottom line. Don't save all your joy for later. Spend it, share it, live it. Because the real goal, maybe the real goal, is to die with 0 regrets and a heart absolutely full of memories.